Security lights are still on. But that panel got enough juice to be charging that. Has enough to run those lights too, but there's that brick. I cleaned some of the cherry red. Looked like a C or something, or a B. I think it's a C. The way they made their stamp. Cherry red 6. Might be a 6. Yeah, that's a 6. But yeah, this was in a pile of bricks that were broken. And I guess this one wasn't good enough, but I'd seen the broken part first, and I go, well, that's kind of neat. Deeply put in there. And then I found this one underneath it. I said, well, you're not bad. Anyway. Alright, so this is my behind the chair lab, basically. I transfer the stuff in and out to the... If it's warm enough, I go outside and work on the porch. But I got my soldering station, my little soldering iron. You can change the tips out. That's a good little soldering iron. And then various parts of things that I salvage, batteries and stuff like that. This one I took apart. They're not real high capacity. I'm going to test them. How that hair get on there? 1,300 milliamps. This is an 18650. They're normally like about, you can go up to 3,000 easy on those and it be legit. But even if they are this low, they're free. They were spot welded on. This was in a 24 volt pack that was of something that was thrown away. And I was like, ooh, 18650, because they'll work. They're considered like flat tops, so anything that would be a flat top. And all you got to do is get a little magnet, and you can make it a button top, a little 3mm, I believe it is, magnet. That's for heat shrink. And then here, this one I'm putting together with the little charge circuit. So it's hidden underneath here, but that's a minus and that's a plus. You can barely see it right there. But this is your little light circuit with your LEDs and a motion sensor thing. And then down here is a little charge circuit. Now what I did was I took the soldering iron and burned through the sides there. Now you got to keep in mind that this is left battery plus and left battery minus, and that's right battery plus and right battery minus. So when you put a battery on top of it, you want to make sure that there's nothing conductive. And I usually write down what these are, but anyways, I'm just trying to, I'll fit this in because it'll flex, and then I should be able to close the cover again. And then this will have its own battery pack and everything. And when it gets low, you just pull that out, stick it in a USB port, and bam, it charges it. Now, the reason why I'm doing this is, if you go with alkaline batteries, that's the most expensive route for these. These light kits right here, these are not the Amazon, the Dollar Tree, $1.25 ones. I got these on Amazon. I think it was like about 4 or 6 of them for $8. And I was originally given some to me, and that's what got me into, like, man, these things are so cool, because the lights can be off wherever it's at, and you don't, but normally for the lights to come on, you have to go over to the light switch and hit it. Well, you're in darkness the whole time until you run into the lights. With this one, if you move and it's within its range, the light will come on. And if it doesn't detect any motion after that, after 20 seconds, it'll turn itself off. If there's existing light, it won't even come on. But what I use it in is on the way to the bathroom. I have one stuck on a fire extinguisher. They don't always come with magnetic backing and stuff like that, so I just take either some super glue or whatever and stick it on the back of it. And then I stick it on something like a fire extinguisher, something metallic, or the bathtub. And now with alkalines, yeah, they'll last longer than a week, but then you're going to have to replace them. Even with like heavy duty alkalines or just carbon type batteries, uh, this is AAA size, so they're not very high capacity, and they're not in parallel, so they'll drain eventually. And then what are you gonna do? You're gonna spend more money on it. With me, since I have free electricity weekend, see what I'm getting at? If it'll last a week before it runs out, I've got perpetual energy for free, basically. I mean, it's factored into your bills and everything. But these come out of vape cells that are thrown away. And the problem is form factor. This big round one here is nice. It doesn't tell you the capacity other than 3.15 watt hours. You can figure that out, volts and everything, but I think it's around 341. That the parentheses might be down there. Milliamp. And then this guy here is 3.7 volts, 1.55 watt hours. Sometimes they do watt hours, sometimes they do milliamps. You just have to do that little calculation. And then in every vaporizer is a battery. Sometimes it's not really huge. See, these are long and flat, but it might fit something better. 3.7 volts, 280 milliamps. But there's also a charge circuit with it and a little transducer. And you don't need that transducer. See, I just took it completely out of this circuit here. It was a separate set of wires. But I just let the voltage coming in go where it normally goes. It's going to operate like a thing. You just eliminate that switch. That's all that thing is a switch, so that when you inhale it turns it on. And if you don't want it to do that, you don't need it in there. And then this guy just piggybacks in here. I had to, burn some more space in there for him. And you use an old solder tip or something when you do that. Or you use this side of it the most. Now, another thing about these little needle tips, I thought, this is what I really need to use because I'm doing precise work. Well, no, this is better for those big lugs that I had to desolder the 24 volt one on. It was like big lugs on a circuit board. But this is what I normally run on it. And anyways, yeah, it works much better because then the solder flows more easily. So I'm learning as I go on these, but I've had some successes. Now, I've had some scare stories, because you got to be careful with this, man. These guys are live all the time. And if you touch those two leads together, which I did on, especially disassembling those vape cells and vape cartridges and everything, you got to watch out. Those are hard to figure out how to disassemble sometime. I thought I had a lithium fire, but it was actually two leads shortened together. But I had smoke. I had one burn some the heating elements. It turned on because I'm trying to pry this thing around, and if you're using something conductive when you're prying, you can short leads together. You know how that goes. So it's not recommended, even if you know what you're doing, which I'm supposed to know what I'm doing. I've got all this experience in electronics. But, that stuff can fade like anything else. And that's part of why I'm doing this, is just to keep my ability to mess around with electronics current, relatively current. Current, get it? Huh? That's electronics joke. That's an inside one, and I didn't even realize I was doing it. Alright, yeah, so this is just a USB-C Chester. I plugged that in out there. I don't know where it's hiding right now. This guy also comes in handy because I have discharged batteries below their capacity to work anymore. Not this one, but when I shorted one lead together, it went down to 2 bolts, and I tried to do a repair on my repair thing, and it wouldn't repair it. So I may have fried that particular battery. I think it's this guy right here. Yeah, the 320 milliamp one, because these 2 leads touched together, and that's when I thought it was in a bag too. I hadn't had it wrapped up and everything, and I just ran outside. I thought, lithium fire, toxic fumes, and it was just, it was just the leads shorting together like they're trying to do right now. Anyway, that guy's pretty much fried. But I've got more of them. Why go crazy over it, right? It's just something to do, like I said. Now, what I'm currently going to do right here, these are really tiny wires, and I don't want to necessarily snip them, so what I'm going to do is strip the insulation off of them without breaking the wires and tap in that way. And that'll be a cleaner connection. And then I'll set this guy in here, and then this guy will go on top, and then this guy will go here, and then all of that will squish together, and then I'll put the back plate on, and we'll be done. Because this one's already charged it up. I charged it during the day. It was a red light while it was charging. There's a little red light. Now, you might not be able to see that, when this is all hooked up. But, we'll figure that out. So, yeah, there you go. I did a night shot on this. This is the TS10. They call it SG, single emitter. Man, this thing's a thrower. It's not super throwy, but it's much more throwy than the regular 3 LED one. And it has more efficiency, and these kind of like, it's kind of a weird, it almost has like a Fresnel bezel here, and then weird, anyways, the artifacts that it gives off on this, it's pretty cool. It does it very well on the side emitter lights, but I took a video of that out there when it was really cold this morning, 30-something degrees, but there's no wind blowing. So anyways, I'll upload that video also, or you may have already watched it. So I've rambled on too long right now, but that's my setup. I run this power cord out here, goes under the door. Usually the door's open, like I said. And then I set up out here, set this here. That's my little trash can. What the hell is that? Sound like a cat fight. This thing never focus. Something I remember from electronics is you make a good mechanical connection and then you solder it. Don't just lay a piece of wire on top of another piece of wire and blob solder on it. It may work, but you're better off twisting the wires. See, with this, I stripped the insulation off. I didn't cut it in half. I stripped the insulation off the red wire using the sheep's foot blade on this guy, and then I stripped a piece of wire using my wire strippers. I think it was a 26 gauge. This is a piece of wire I found in something thrown away. So I'm going to do the same thing with the black, but when you're messing around with batteries, do one at a time. Don't strip both of them and think you're going to be really efficient, because what's going to happen is you're going to short them. And with lithium, besides it'll burn, it could the whole battery could start burning. So you don't want to do that. Anyways, I'm going to finish this circuit up and then put it back in this. I just have to basically, I'm making attachment points for these guys, these two wires. And then it's tapped into the charging circuit. I'll run it through here. And this is flexible, so I'll figure out a way of fitting it in there. And then put the cover on, and that one will be done. It's taken a while, but you know, mainly because disassembling those vape cells, it depends on how well. Some are easy to take apart, and other ones I cut myself up. Yes, I was using a knife on plastic again. I cut the edge of my thumb. I was going with the knife. I was cutting like this with a piece of plastic, and I was holding the piece of plastic with my right hand. And you're never supposed to cut towards yourself. I wasn't cutting towards myself, but I was cutting towards my thumb, which was holding the stuff. And plastic with a knife, it's gonna give when you least expect it, and you're going to have more force than you expect, and then there's going to be zero resistance. There's going to be a lot of resistance, and then none. And that's when you get sliced. Anyway, let me get back to work here. See, I've cut it here. This brick is my little stand, because this is rubber, this is plastic like, this is brick. When you're messing around with hot stuff, basically you peel the insulation back. I nicked one wire, which made me think of a movie. Top Secret is the name of the movie. It's a parody of stuff, but he meets this girl. Her name is Hillary. She's German or something. East German. He's in East Germany. And he goes, Hillary? She goes, yes. My name is she whose woman whose boobs defy gravity, or something like that. And she goes, what's your name? Nick? And she goes, what does that mean? And he goes, I'm American. Our names don't mean shit. My father thought of it while he was shaving. Anyways, I nicked one strand, but I went off into that little movie in my head while thinking about it. But it's not going to make any difference, because I'm going to solder it. Yeah, little sheep's foot did very well as an electrical knife. A nice situation with the sun and all these trees, and being just facing west. I don't get the morning sun, and that's about the best place to put that. You get later on, you have to move it around to get the best charge. Sometimes right here is getting the most light, and it depends on the time of the year. This is winter time, but yeah, that right there is giving me 1.45 amps. I'm running USB-C to this USB-C meter, and then into this little charge thing while I'm out here. So no, I'm not building a kaboom thing. I'm building a light thing. Mad scientist. Solder. Alright, yeah. Yeah, this van came up and parked down there, and I saw two people get out, and they walked towards that first left area over there. And I didn't think much about it, and then they came back out, and they walked over here, and they went down there, and I went, I know what they're up to. They're distributing flyers. So I got on my balcony, and there's nobody on top floor right now. 2 of the apartments are empty, and one of them, the guy works night shift or something, or day shift, but he don't come back. So I stood right by my door while they were putting their flyers out, and The guy comes walking up and he goes, "How you doing, sir?" "All right." He goes, "Would you like a free?" "No." "Okay, have a good day." And then he walked. He didn't even put the one on my door. He didn't put one on my door. He didn't put one on the door opposite, but he didn't want to look like a fool, so he walked down there and put one on the very end one where nobody lives. And then he walked back. That's when he said, have a nice day, sir. Have a good day." "I will. Without you putting your crap all over my door, there's no such thing as a free whatever you're trying to sell." Anyways, I'm not security. I'm more like neighborhood watch. I watch what goes on, and if they're up to no good, you know, I'm not the police. You know, I'm the neighborhood watch. And if you're up to no good, I'm also the neighborhood that's gonna tell on your ass. Because let the law deal with it. If you don't want the law dealing with it, then you can have me deal with it. And you don't want me dealing with it. Because you know, mine is, this is kind of like my community here, even though it's an apartment complex. I've lived here for, I don't know, 14 years or something like that. So, look at that. Moving furniture or paintings or something in. But anyways, yeah, it's a nice little work area. Yeah, it's cluttered already. I have a problem with clutter. As you can tell. Clutter everywhere. That's where Shadow likes to sleep whenever he comes around. He don't visit quite as much because, like I said, he's gone from, all these scratches are for him playing around. He doesn't like to play quite as much now. That's when I was a kid. Dude, that was only like a month ago. You were a kid a month ago. Then you found women and you changed. Oh well, that's life. He's a nice cat. Had enough? Huh? Is it good?